Never ready, James.
You're always
Never
ready. All right, so hi, welcome to Beer Protocol. I'm James. I am drinking rum and coke today.
Oh, what a nobleman's choice.
Ew, rum and coke?
Yeah.
That's so unlike you.
Well, I now have your disease, so I can't drink beer.
It's
Can't you
very
just-
like him.
Can't you just drink whiskey like I do?
I would, but I only have like really crappy whiskey I give out to people that come visit. What whiskey are you drinking, Matt?
I am drinking Puckett's Branch rye whiskey. It's not my favorite, but it gets the job done. It doesn't have a very sweet aftertaste. It's not very smoky. It's mint.
It's the kind of thing where you yell and you're like, it'll get you drunk.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's my aim for the day anyway. So
Hey, Doctor Strange, what are you drinking over there in your sanctum?
Today Jacob is drinking Bundaberg ginger beer from Australia.
Nice. Wow, Australian ginger beer?
It's actually really mild. I like it a lot. It's one of the best ginger beers I've had.
Does it make you want to put shrimps on the Barbie?
Do you
No more than
do
usual.
you feel like everything in your house is now ready to kill you?
Oof. Yeah, that's an unrelated topic I could go into for a while.
So we're just going to ramble. We have so much that came out of Gencon. There's still stuff coming out of Gencon, considering that I think there's another thing going on at like 6 p.m. I believe tonight. There's another release item from Atomic Mass Games, but we're going to talk about the stuff that is current as of 2:30ish on Sunday.
Doing the best we can. Welcome to August, everybody.
Yay!
Hey.
One step closer to not being in this hellhole of a year.
Doesn't mean next year won't be.
Oh, sure.
I mean, yeah, that's been the trend for the last few years. Accept your happiness where you can. It's not coming any other way.
Just wait. Maybe we'll find out the Mayan who made the calendar was dyslexic. He meant 2021 instead of 2012.
We'll never find out. It's going to be a nightmare regardless.
I hate you so much.
I have somehow managed to lose your guys' faces on my... There it is. Okay,
That's
there's the
okay.
button.
You don't need
You
to
don't
see
really
us.
need to see me anyway.
So, James, how do you want to go about this? I pulled up Atomic Mass's Facebook page, and I've got their photo gallery.
That's what I've got
and I
open
can
too.
try to... do we want to try to somehow get an image? We should have planned this before we started recording. How are we going to get an image of what we're looking at to the screen?
Now we're going to suffer. If you've not seen it, everyone, go to BeerThralls Facebook page, go to Atomic Mass Games, go to friggin' Inspiring Monologue, go to Xavier Protocol. Jake has now disappeared into a small little box.
Yay!
That's so cute.
Can you see my screen?
No, I can't because
see you. Daredevil looks awesome.
Stop doing that, Jake, because you're now in a small little box.
Oh, I tried to share my screen to you guys.
I know, but it's the way I have it coming into the OBS. It's yeah.
It works for me.
Thank you. So big news. The first big news that came out from Gen Con is the release of the X-Men. Everyone. Except for like everyone born in like after like all these like people born after like all these Zoomers are just like, what is that song? Why do they keep singing it, old people?
Or when eventually Colossus comes out, I'm calling it. You're going to just have a bunch of people wandering around at tournaments going, oh.
Oh no. I'm gonna.
If he doesn't have a superpower just called,
I'm waiting for.
I will be disappointed.
I'm just waiting for Juggernaut, just like it's Juggernaut, bitch. So
let's talk about that lineup because they have said there will be waves of X-Men.
Unfortunately,
so wave 1 of the X-Men is Cyclops, Storm, Beast, and Wolverine.
Correct.
A solid lineup. That's a classic X-Men lineup.
What I expected.
And Beast, Cyclops, and Wolverine have all been spoiled to have alternate poses. So, like, you have Beast with a book instead of just him clenching his hand. You've got,
which is far better.
You've got Wolverine without his blade, like horn thing on his face.
Basically, it's Wolverine with or without mask.
Yes.
And then Cyclops with or without skull cap.
Yes. Which it's
like I prefer Cyclops without the skull cap. I want his hair there because that's what I'm used to from the cartoon. Because I don't remember Cyclops ever really wearing the full blue skull cap.
Oh, yeah.
That was a comic thing.
That's a comic thing.
That was from the comics. Like in the cartoon, he was almost always had his moppy brown hair, whereas Wolverine is iconic with his mask that covers the face and sweeps back.
Also, Storm is just going to be the most annoying model to put away in your bag because she's being held up only by like a single lightning bolt.
Seriously?
Yeah, she looks like she's going to snap off just by a strong breeze.
Now that lightning bolt does go. It's not like at a single point. It's somewhat diagonal across her back. So there's likely a couple places or like a solid stretch where it'll fuse in.
It's really thin across
but
where her legs are. Like it's just like this one little piece.
Dude, have you seen Ebony Maw?
Oh no, he's right back there.
This is not the first time or the last time. There's going to be a model with like a small single. Have you seen friggin' Gamora and Nebula?
I haven't put them together yet, just for that fear.
Like this is just a thing, okay?
They're both just like, attach your foot to this little tiny peg. Congratulations, you can now play with it.
You're a model.
It'll bring you back to your Privateer Press days when you had to pin every fucking tiny little arm onto everything. Otherwise, it's just a mass graveyard of arms across the entire board.
Oh yeah, you just open up your bag and you're just like, oh god, whose gun is this?
Yeah. No, I have not yet had to pin anything, but I have donated a considerable amount of fingertip flesh from glue onto the model.
Oh, see, that way you can always make sure they're yours. Your DNA encrypting your models.
No one else could use this model. It only responds to my DNA when I push it across the table.
Exactly. Now, the most important question is when am I getting Jubilee? I want Jubilee from the cartoons.
Well, I think she's currently a vampire in the comics, so we'll see which version of Jubilee we get.
Is she a vampire in the comics?
She was for a while. She may still be. I don't know. I haven't read an X-Men comic in over a decade.
Well, I mean, if she's a vampire, then she might actually have superpowers then, so...
That was as effective as Jubilee on an average day.
We're just going to get Dazzler. So...
let's talk about the Brotherhood lineup. So the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which actually is there affiliation called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? That was always an artifact of like the 60s and 70s comics where they themselves call themselves evil.
I don't remember if they were called the Brotherhood. I know they were called the Brotherhood, but I don't remember they were actually called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. It might.
I highly doubt a modern incarnation is the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
You got to remember that there's a lot of like nuances they have to do. So like you can't say a certain word. It's like everything in Marvel right now wasn't mutants. They were whatever the Immortals or whatever they were called. Inhumans.
See, Inhumans is an entirely different thing than mutants. So like the last few years, and you're thinking of TV shows and movies, not comics.
But no. But the TVs, the Marvel at one time could not use the term mutant because it was owned by Fox.
Yeah, it's TV and other incarnations. They always had the rights for the comics.
Now, it could be the same problem is here because the Brotherhood is an X-Men thing. Marvel technically doesn't own it yet. So it could be they're the Brotherhood, just kind of like you can't say Hydra for some reason, but you can say Cabal. So it could be the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants because the Brotherhood's copyrighted.
Who knows, man? But our lineup for the Brotherhood is Magneto as team leader, Dadoy, Mystique, and that's pretty much the really big names. And now we're into B and C-list characters for like all villains.
Isn't a B-list character?
Like
Sabretooth is a B.
Sabretooth is not a B character.
No one cares about Sabretooth other than
Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's the only person that beats Wolverine. He finds Wolverine every year on his birthday and beats the shit out of him for fun.
You do notice that none of us are actually talking about Toad because we all know that Toad is a B-lister.
I already asked for it. You all just kind of talk over me. So
sorry, our crosstalk game. It's been a while. And Toad. I am happy with Toad. I'm happy Toad's here because, as my housemate pointed out, this is the original X-Men movie lineup.
It is.
Like it is. That's just what it is. It's the villains from the first X-Men movie, which makes a lot of sense. That was people's first mass exposure to the X-Men as a live-action property.
What are the?
And it was one of the earliest superhero
What
movies.
are the two things on the outside?
Huh?
Oh, X-Men. Magneto is bringing terrain pieces on bases, which implies to me Magneto's got some kind of movable terrain.
That would be awesome. Just
that makes perfect sense.
Just like pieces of metal that he's just like carrying around with him because reasons.
Do you remember that horrible tentacle monster from
Cthulhu?
The friggin' Dragon faction in Hordes, who I can't even remember anymore. It's been long enough.
You mean Legion?
Legion, yeah. What was that tentacle?
I actually knew what you meant. Yes, I know what you're talking
the
about.
Watcher? Is it the Watcher? This one that's like underneath it's got the maw and a bunch of tentacles.
It looks like half a Cthulhu with a throne on top.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the throne of Everblight.
That's not what I was thinking of, but I appreciate you guys trying. James had it the first time with that horrible thing that just had its own tentacle pieces on it.
That moved around? Oh,
yeah. I'm already picturing Magneto as basically having that kind of gameplay where it's like, here I am. Here are my pieces of metal that I'm going to smack you with.
I have to admit, Magneto's pose is that amazing, just I rule everything floating posture that is so iconic in like all the comics and every single movie that he's in.
Yeah. Like Magneto is just kind of floating there, but he's got girders bending around him. He's got metal curving around him. The shoulders of his cape are actually raised, which gives the visual impression that his cape is floating independently of him, which is kind of common for Magneto posing.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite detail is he's got his hands kind of outstretched, just kind of like standard posing, as you can't see my arms because of the camera.
I'll do it for you.
But his head is actually askew. He's not looking straight on. He's looking like off and to the right. So like his body line is not where his head's at. So it gives him dynamicism in the model beyond just being sort of I'm hunched forward and ready to go as I have to like try to get my camera in view.
The pose for Mystique is also amazing. It's just like even though she's a very static, like everyone else is this very dynamic pose, she's just staying there, but she still has a very like the presence of that model is still there, even though she's just standing there.
Now, do they have her like in transition, or is it just Mystique as Mystique?
No, it's just Mystique as Mystique. But you could probably do some modifications and make her into like a transition.
So that would be awesome. Like, how I wish they did the model was like that one cosplay where they had Mystique on the top half, and then
where it's like cutting across her face.
Yeah, cutting across her face in the transition. That would have been fucking insane.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have been that hard of a model to do.
Yeah. We really got to get these pictures up. James, we got to get our media game together.
Well, I mean, most of these things just came out. So, the more important things that came out from this, Spider-Foes.
I mean, to be fair, Spider-Foes is cool. X-Men is better.
No, shut the hell up. Okay, so let's talk about Fisk.
I'm going to be honest.
X-Men is better. That was mine and Jake's childhood.
All right, game off.
Too bad, James. So, we've got some.
I'll see you in August.
The other big spoiler, or not spoiler, but new news, in addition to the X-Men being announced, at least the Wave 1 of X-Men, they have essentially confirmed there will be more X-Men in the future, is we have Defenders. And the, Counter Defenders? I don't know what this affiliation is going to be.
I think Spider-Foes is also...
Aggressors?
Is Spider-Foes also, like...
Bullseye is not a Spider-Foe.
Oh.
Yeah, Bullseye is Daredevil, isn't he?
And Taskmaster is not a Spider-Foe. Like, it's Sinister Six, a.k.a. Spider-Foes, is very Spider-Man focused.
Maybe...
Now, Spider-Man is also in the Defenders affiliation and the Web Warriors affiliation, so there's going to be some crossover, but I highly doubt, like, Wilson Fisk is a classic Spider-Man villain, but he's even more associated with Deadpool. Not Deadpool, Daredevil. But, like, Wilson Fisk is like Wilson Fisk and Bullseye are classic Daredevil villains.
I wonder if this is going to be that multiple faction thing. So like Fisk can be in Spider-Foes, but he's also the leader of, I don't know, Fisk Enterprises or whatever. Anti-Defenders.
Aggressors. We'll call them aggressors.
The aggressors, yes.
Attackers. The attacking team. But we also, in addition, we got the Defender card somewhere, but it looks like our current Defenders lineup includes Spider-Man and Hawkeye, who are already out, so it's cool to see them getting some multiple affiliation love. Daredevil himself, who looks awesome.
That is an amazing model.
As much as I don't like Daredevil, that is a friggin' amazing model, and it's got 2 different poses also with the his baton whip thing.
I'm really happy to see that they're carrying forward with having multiple poses you could choose from in the kits, starting with Thanos with either with or without the gauntlet, him grinning or grimacing. I'm happy they're giving us more variability. Valkyrie also looks like she'll be returning for Defenders affiliation, which is cool. I kind of feel like Valkyrie might be a little overswamped in current affiliations with like Asgard. While she's a good piece, there's so much competition for a melee bruiser at 3 points. Defenders could give her a good place to shine because we can already see Defenders is going to have a solid mix of ranged and melee. So she could have a solid dedicated melee role in the Defenders.
Yeah.
Punisher. Punisher is also out. Punisher looks great. Granted, the paint schemes are also fantastic in general for all of this.
No, he's that typical. He is that typical comic Punisher, the stubble on the face with just like I've got a bag of weapons underneath my foot.
Yeah, I'll be kind of amazed if his 5 o'clock shadow is actually on the sculpt. That's 100% just good painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, that'd be the one reason I wouldn't buy the model is because I know I couldn't come anywhere near doing enough justice to it and painting it.
I really do like the Punisher sculpt. Like, it's a pretty straightforward, big gun, clenched fist, looking forward pose. But like his knee up on the weapons bag gives him some dynamicism. Like in general, Atomic Mass Games has done a really good job of taking what would be otherwise fairly static poses and giving some movement, giving some implied destination that these pieces are going to, and making them feel a little more dynamic than sort of just hup.
Yeah. It could have been,
of course,
it could have been like the Winter Soldier pose, and I just don't like the Winter Soldier pose. He's just standing there with a gun, just kind of up. But Punisher is doing the Punisher thing, which is just, and when this one runs out, I drop it and pick up another one.
Yeah, and of course he's giving a nice broad view of his chest and that skull.
Yeah.
Like, that skull is big and huge and prominent on his model. We also do have to talk about the Defender's leader, who, seriously, Matt, if you haven't seen Doctor Strange yet, just go look for a picture real quick. Doctor Strange.
I saw it when he brought it up on the computer screen. Because I actually saw it. James didn't. It was gorgeous.
Let me see if I can pull that back up again.
When I go buy the game, even though I have no one to play it with.
So that's probably going to be real small, but you can kind of see I had some Doctor Strange material. That's Doctor Strange and Wong. I assume Wong is in the Defenders also.
He is.
Well, Wong is okay.
Why can't I find the friggin' card? I thought I posted it.
Facebook.
You did. It's there.
On Facebook. I actually went to our BeerThralls page and pulled it up on my phone in case we talked about it, so I could pretend I knew it was. I could pretend I knew what I was talking about. Yeah. See, it's right here.
Oh well, yeah.
But no, Doctor Strange is fantastic. I don't know how well this is going to come through after we streamline it for the video, but he's got these massive arcane rings. His cape is going in and out of the rings, so there's a very solid 3D effect going on with this model, where he's coming through the ring and isn't just surrounded by the ring.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Anyone who likes doing non-metallic metals or arcane runes is probably going to have a field day putting together that arcane sigil.
Yeah, that model scares me for painting. That absolutely scares me.
100% you need to paint like the base and the sigil separate and then carefully insert a painted Doctor Strange.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You're overestimating my abilities to do anything.
Yeah. Like, even Thanos, I'm just like, I haven't assembled them yet, but I'm not going to attach them to the base because I've seen some really spectacular base stuff with Thanos. Because Thanos is the first model who's not on a city street for his base.
Yeah.
He has an actual custom tile set for his base. I kind of want to do that upright.
That makes sense.
And yes, Wong is in the Defenders list. Along with Luke Cage, Iron Fist.
It's a huge list.
It's like, and I think it's all the B-listers.
Strange is not a B-lister.
I don't understand how Strange became the leaders of the Defenders. Like, I thought he
You
was.
see all those arcane rings? I would make him leader too.
He just like floats down and says, I am in charge now.
And I go, yep, yes you are, sir. No problem.
I agree.
You have spells I can't say the names of? You win.
To be fair, he can't say the names of them either.
So,
Benedict Cumberbatch can do whatever he wants. Thank you very much.
That is, yeah.
I'm sorry, who?
Benedict
That's actually the best Doctor Strange I've ever seen. I now worship the Otter Strange.
I mean, this just looks like Benedict Cumberbatch to me.
I love it. I now need to go buy an otter and dress him in Doctor Strange clothing.
So, I don't know how I feel about that statement. I now need to go buy an otter.
So
it's quarantine time. Everyone's got money. I can afford an otter right now.
We have one of the characters being released that I find the least appealing, which is Deadshot.
Bullseye?
Bullseye? Deadshot?
Because I think Deadshot is
SDC.
the DC character.
God, yeah. It's one of those ones that like one came out and then the other one, no, Bullseye. It is Bullseye. I still hate it. I still hate the character.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. Bullseye is a real dumb design for a character. Like that's such a Rob Liefeld character.
It was the only thing I enjoyed in the Daredevil movies. Was Bullseye.
I mean, he did seem to be the only one having fun.
Yeah, but he is doing the. I've just got a billion things around my belt, and then just kind of like holding a knife. Like he's just kind of pointing at you with it, which is kind of a cool pose. But once again, he's one of those characters that's like, I didn't like him in the comics. I didn't like him in the movies. I don't really want to field him on the table, but he might turn into like a Hawkeye where I'm like, oh, he's just too good.
Yeah, like to be fair, Hawkeye real good, and you weren't happy about him until I made you look at his card.
I know. God, I want to call him Killmonger, but he's not Killmonger. Taskmaster. I am kind of okay with his sculpt.
I mean, yeah, he's charging forward at someone.
I really want to see his card and see if he has the you do a superpower, I do a superpower.
That would
mean he's got it, right?
I mean, he's Taskmaster.
I can't remember if Taskmaster, if you hit him, he learns it, or if he sees you.
That's why in the comics he just watched Captain America on TV.
That's right.
That's why he does all his shield stuff. And then the Fat Man himself,
Mr. Wilson Fisk. Like if Fisk isn't the leader of that affiliation, something's gone wrong.
God,
he's not fat. He's big boned and muscular.
If you have
his base is probably almost the size of Hulk's.
Dude,
he's big boned and muscular. I idolized him when I was little because I was a short, fat, chubby kid who kind of looked like him.
So
can we talk about like Fisk itself as like a model pose is pretty okay. Like he's basically kind of like got his hand to his fist, hand on the cane.
Is he adjusting his tie?
He might actually be adjusting his tie. But one of my favorite basing details of a model in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Like I really enjoyed when the new version of Black Widow and Hawkeye were on. Both of them were leaping off of Hydra memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
Like both of their bases had like Hydra symbols in rubble, showing that they were basically stomping all over Hydra as agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Great, evocative. Fisk is standing on a crumpled Nelson and Murdoch Partners at Law sign.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It's so good. Like
it's like how
they released that, like the picture of that, just the base, like from like top down, and I'm just like, I want that so bad.
I mean, he's literally stomping on Daredevil's business. Dude is not a Spider fan.
Kind of okay with that.
Spider-Man has enough B and C list tier villains to fight in his affiliation counterplay.
The other thing we saw, if you look at the pictures, all of that terrain for the Fisk construction is going to be released as a set.
Nice.
So we're having a construction set being released for terrain.
Yep,
Nice.
that goes nicely with the cosmic terrain that just came out. So we're gonna have all kinds of new terrain to splash up and make the battlefields look pretty.
So with Daredevil and all that, we're going to have to do a rooftop terrain.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Wait, when did they release the Flaming Skull guy on a motorcycle?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Who is a Defender?
He is a Defender.
He is in that affiliation.
He was leaked, quote unquote, like 2 months ago, but there's been like no word about him since, other than this right here.
Okay, so I totally have to go buy this game now. I hate you guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Other random models that we saw get teased. She-Hulk has a sculpt and a model.
Really?
Yeah.
She-Hulk is coming.
Awesome.
She's picking up a girder.
I think she's a Defender.
She's a Defender.
Let's see other random stuff.
Enchantress, which I did not know who that was.
That would help. Yeah, that does help for me as well. We finally got a preview. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's Enchantress now that I know the name and can put the model together. It's very green.
I wasn't into Thor, and I was like, is it a female Loki? And
yeah, why not?
It's Enchantress.
And then we finally got a pic of Angela, who has been on a lot of affiliations for a while, but no actual word on the model or what she would look like. And we saw her model, and yeah, she cool.
I don't like the image they posted for one reason. She kind of looks like something you would buy in a collector's box. Like she's got that plasticky look.
Yeah, like it
a
could just
McFarlane
be
toy.
the metals they used.
Yeah,
But to be fair, this miniature piece looks like a professionally done McFarlane toy.
It does.
Like that's the quality of the posing. So if you haven't seen Angela's model, she's in the air, like leaping down, but surrounding her feet are these like coils of mystic scrolls with XOXO written all over them. So it looks like she's literally like being either pulled down, but still going down, ready to fight. Like I don't know if she's being held aloft. It's a very Hellboy-esque pose. It reminds me a lot of just like standard like photo stills of Hellboy leaping into something terrible.
So everyone online is asking, like, does this mean we get Spawn? It's like, no.
Sorry,
we've discussed this. Like, no.
Spawn isn't Marvel.
Technically, Angela was a Spawn character when she was introduced, and then Marvel bought that character.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Spawn is still, was it Image?
I think it's current.
It's still McFarlane, isn't it? Like McFarlane's own comic series, or
is there even a Spawn ongoing comic right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just hit their 300th comic or something like that.
Oh, you can't trust comic makers to number their comics accurately.
I mean,
they would literally just announce, this is issue number 300 if you count all of these things. So they can put 300 and have a big promotional thing.
300.
Is it?
To me, it is. They did 300. They did 299 other publications. This would be the third 300th one.
I'm trying to get a better picture. Yeah, Fisk looks like he's actually adjusting his tie. He's kind of doing the three fingers, with, like holding his tie.
It's a level of nonchalance that I appreciate in my villains.
I just love that.
I actually might go out and just buy that model for the sheer fact of owning that model.
That's so much white to paint.
Oh yeah, you gotta be real careful. Like,
that's
honestly,
what spray primer's for. I didn't say it was going to look like your model. I just want to own it and paint it.
Like Fisk's posing, and just because, like, honestly, how many miniatures have there ever been of Wilson Fisk?
One so far.
Yeah, I think just the one.
Because like you can find a bunch of like HeroClix minis of like other Marvel characters, easy, not even hard. And probably some of Fisk too. But Fisk's posing is great with the details of his terrain. Doctor Strange is an art piece if it's painted well.
I'm still in love with Daredevil.
Daredevil, yeah, that was my next one.
Amazing.
That's
I would never
definitely
put him in the bag, but he was amazing.
That will probably. Oh, so we do know there's going to be the Worthy. They're working on times and dates, but the last thing that came across was they are still doing the Worthy. They don't know when or where, but Dallas gave a lot of information on what he looks for when they do the judging. And I have a feeling that Daredevil is going to be a lot of people's entries.
Oh yeah.
I could see Angela, because even while I like the pose they have here, it is a little plasticky, and the sort of like the scrolls wrapped around her feet. Theirs is a little straightforward, even, but I could see a lot of people doing really cool, like arcane scroll work with the Angela's base,
or like fires glowing in the bottom or something.
I don't know. I can see Mordok being a good entry too.
A lot of people like painting Mordok.
Especially if you're good with green stuff, you can make them, the 1970s Modok too.
Last I heard, Nathan is still working on his Elvis Modok.
And he should be. Next Wave was a gift, and no one appreciates it. I do feel of like the new models they've released, Fisk, Strange, Daredevil, maybe Angela, like all of those. Even if you aren't into playing the game, all of those models painted up would be worth putting on a shelf next to like action figures and stuff, even if you don't plan to play the game.
I am wondering like what the release schedule for this is, because my wallet cannot take this.
Yes, it can. You're in quarantine. How much money?
No, they've been releasing models at a pretty good clip, so we've been spending all throughout quarantine.
It's been.
I play Warhammer 40K now. If I could afford it, you could afford this.
That's your mistake.
Yeah, no.
Thanos was like $70, dude.
Yeah.
70. Holy fuck.
Wait, hold on though.
Never mind. This game's more expensive than mine.
But Thanos also has his big ass throne.
He comes with his own. He comes with
James, you're not on camera.
On camera. Oh, holy shit. Okay. I could see that being a $70 model now.
Where you just take them off.
But Thanos also came with like an entire scenario kit to play co-op against Thanos and the Black Order.
Okay,
yeah,
so
like counter.
They kind of crammed a lot of stuff into his box.
Okay, fine. Outside of Thanos, what's an average model?
35 for 2.
Yeah, 35 for 2.
That's not bad.
I mean, if anything,
reasonable.
And you really want to play X-Men, just wait, because they're probably going to put out the X-Men as a 2-player box.
Really? You're still holding out hope for that?
I'm hoping. I feel
like, to be fair, dude, it's coming up on a year since the game started. They would have announced that.
I've seen the individual boxes.
It doesn't make sense to me for them to hold back on a new starter set. They would announce it.
I hope they do, but I mean, we've seen the individual boxes. Hopefully, they'll come out with it. But you can just buy all the X-Men that you want to buy and play them.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to hold out hope for the 2-player battle box, because I think I can get George to play this game with me.
There is a 2-player battle box. It's Avengers versus Cabal.
Yeah, like I said, the X-Men 2-player battle box.
Now, at this point, though, they sell the measuring sticks separately. They sell the dice separately. You can buy one of the terrain sets, one of the new terrain sets. Like, there's really, other than getting cards, like the only thing they don't sell separately is all the tactic cards.
Yeah, and you can probably get away with, if you're going with X-Men, most of them don't really matter anyway.
Or, I mean, I wouldn't say most of them don't matter, because that's a bunch of new tactics cards we have nothing to do. If you're just going to play it at home, print the cards.
I didn't hear a thing you said, Jacob, but that's probably good.
So, the last thing that we have that has been announced recently is we're going to have the Infinity Clash Play at Home event. I don't think we have any major details at the moment, but it does look like the organized event will be a play at home.
Yeah, it seemed to be like a fairly standard, from the description for what it sounded like, it was you and opponent play online or meet up in a safe pod and then send us your results.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a store league where it's up to you guys to figure out how to safely meet and play, whether it's through an online application, whether you can safely social distance or follow quarantine rules in someone's home.
We can reserve a table at Huzzah, and they have separated it by like 3 or 4 table links. So like, there's pretty big like gaps between the tables you can use, and you can't go back there unless you have a table.
Oh, nice. I'm glad to see Huzzah's open.
Yeah.
My local game store has decided to really shove it to the players, so.
No, that's why you should move to Virginia.
I'm trying, sir. As soon as I finish my master's, January 1st, I'm going to attempt to get fired, so.
What an odd approach, instead of just being like, I would like to quit this job.
Oh, no. See, my company paid for my school, and I owe them 2 years of employment, or I owe them a fuck ton of money unless I get fired.
Yeah.
So.
That's not how that works. You get fired, you still got to pay it back.
No,
so,
not according to my company. Not the agreement I signed.
So
let's discontinue this conversation. Or recorded
I'll talk to you later, James.
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah, that's right. That's still a thing.
We've seen a card, and then they don't have. It doesn't look like they have a stun side. It's a large and small. Like, I saw 2 cards. One that said large Wasp. One that said small Wasp.
Oh, James, I thought that was one single card.
So you're also in the belief that it's kind of like Hulk, where they don't have a KO.
No. The stun, they can alternate between large or small. It's not they've been stunned, they flipped to small. They change between it. Because so it's hard to do this without having an image. But the card I saw was landscape, not portrait. And it had big or normal size on one side, tiny on the other side. And it had their stats in the middle. So like how much health their defense is. It looks like they just have their stat card be landscape instead of portrait.
Got it.
So yeah, that's not 2 separate cards. I think that was just one card turned on its side, because these cards are Tarot size. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
So they probably still have a stun side where you just flip the landscape card over.
So
or a wounded, 2 separate models though, one for big, one for small.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I was pretty amused though that the small size of small Wasp is size 1, aka the same size as Rocket. So not that small. Not like what we'd expect from the movies.
Well, they don't have size 0, so
they could. This could be the first size 0. They don't exist.
I don't know. As for what they do, you would think they need like a size -1 and skip 0. Honestly,
he just keeps going further and further down.
Now, one thing I did see someone point out for the size changing is you can do some classic War Machine bullshit, where the base size might be different. So, Wasp shifts down, and so you have to because the game does not have the distinction between completely within or within. Everything's just within. So you could be like, okay, replace Wasp's base with Tiny Wasp, and you shift it forward. I don't know if Tiny Wasp is a different base size or has to be complete within, but when you shift from tiny to big, say the big base is different, you've now slightly cheated a little more distance.
Let me go look at I
almost feel like they need 3 sizes, because there's like normal size, itsy bitsy, and gigantic.
So I almost wonder if Giant Man's going to be a separate model entirely.
It almost has to be. But you have to be able to switch between the 3. I mean, you can go from super big to super itsy bitsy and literally go through people's bloodstreams if you wanted to. I mean, that was a comic. That was a cartoon.
They look like they're on the same base size.
Okay. But I did see someone saying there was some kind of movement shenanigan where if you rapidly change sizes, you can change where you were on the table.
I think it's because when you change sizes, it has to be touching the base. So you basically get a small base size, and then you can do it again, and then basically get another base size, which you're basically getting, about 3 inches?
Maybe a short movement.
But we will talk about that when we actually get the cards.
Which is cool, because Wasp, at least, Janet has a reaction ability when she's targeted where she can rapidly change size to juke the attack, or get out of range. Or I think she gets a short move, too. So she changes size, gets a short move, so she can try to do like a Loki-esque stunt of getting out of their range or line of sight, or otherwise negating their attack.
So somebody shoots at her, she has cover because she's behind a piece of terrain. She shrinks, now you can't see her because you don't have line of sight, and then she can pop back up later.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
That sounds like War Machine all the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's 100% going to be some of that janky place or Holy Within.
They all came from PP, didn't they?
Yep.
So that makes sense.
A lot of them. I've been saying for a while that playing Thanos is like playing classic Haley 2.
Ew. Okay, I don't want to play this game anymore. I still have PTSD of Haley 2.
You're a bad person, but yeah.
Because Thanos has 100% successful telekinesis. It's not an attack roll.
Oh, so you mean Haley's fate, 100%.
Granted, he has to spend resources to do it each time, but that's essentially, like, once I realize that, I'm just like, oh, Thanos makes complete sense to me now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to play your game anymore.
Too bad. You're playing.
To be fair, though, it's Thanos. Like, if anyone is going to have the impressive irritation gameplay, it's Thanos.
So, true, but I don't really want to face Haley 2 ever again.
So we're at 40 minutes. So is there anything else we know that we came from Gen Con as of now?
For Marvel Crisis Protocol? Other than
other
future
stuff
announcement? There's too much stuff. It's Gen Con. We can't cover within this context.
If you watch the video all the way to the end, Deadpool.
Wait, Deadpool's Marvel?
Yeah. So if you basically know, if there's a video of them talking about X-Men, and it goes all the way to, if you go all the way to the end of the video, it's basically somebody dialing a phone and saying this number's been blocked, and it's just the Deadpool logo pops up and it disappears.
Okay, I'm into playing now.
I mean, cool, I guess. Deadpool's fun, but I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Deadpool's fun. It's just going to be one of those things where it's just going to be fun to play, and I'm hoping he has an ultimate encounter. Because Deadpool kills Marvel Universe.
No.
Several times. So, things that are coming up. We do have our 24-hour stream that we are not sure how we're going to do. We will
figure out a way.
Yeah, we're waiting until we get a little bit closer, but we're going to be announcing more about the 24-hour charity stream for Extra Life. It might just turn into we're just doing it online. But that gives us a chance to do things like if you want to come play, hey, come play. Other things that are going on, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right. It's been a wonderful, productive conversation.
Yeah. Thank you.
We've actually been productive?
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's a tie for BeerThralls history.
It happens every now and
then. I mean, come on. Once Nathan's not around, everything becomes smooth.
I don't know. B&D, I think he tend to play off each other very well, so I don't know. I'm still here.
All right.
You outlasted him.
Thanks, guys. Game off.
Game off.
Yay, game off.